Are you saying you faked with me?
Yeah.
I just had sex, and it felt so good.
Wrong. Now you're single.
What do you know about sexual relations?
Is it true that if you don't use it, you lose it?
I'm a little worried about being a slut.
You're listening to the Come With Us podcast, presented by Darling Way, talking the good, the kinky, and the ugly. Here are your hosts, Beth, Aaron, and Tina.
Hello, hello, my darling friends. We're here with another episode of Come With Us podcast, the naughty, fun, sexy education we all wish we'd had years ago, and all the conversations that everybody wants to hear. And you, thank goodness you're here with us today. We are all about different sex toys. I don't know. You can have sexy fun without having vibrators and plugs and lubes and all sorts of things. But, you know, after a while, it gets kind of boring just playing with yourself, right? What do you say, Aaron? I'm so glad you're here today.
I didn't have sex until I was 21 years old. So, yeah, playing with yourself gets really boring after a while.
Yes. And don't you, right, even as a guy, I know a lot of men are a little bit nervous about, vibrators and things like that. But not you, right?
No.
No.
Why would I be?
I love that. We'll talk about why. All right, Tina, what have you got to share with us today?
What do I have to share with us? I have had an interesting week. I didn't see my boyfriend for the whole week, and we just weren't really generally having like a ton of sex. So Beth gave me a bunch of sex toys to try last week.
See, these, by the way, this is what I call I'm a friend with benefits. It's not that I'm a friend who has sex with you. I have really important benefits. Yes, like sexy toys.
And I did. I tried them all.
Yay!
And so I'm going to give you some honest...
How many?
4.
Jeez.
Which was the amount that she
In
gave me.
one
I would
week.
have tried more. I would have
4
tried
in
more.
1 week.
Yeah. So I tried 4, and I don't think that was that many, because I will, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. Not all of them worked for me, so not all of them were great, and it was, we're doing a little bit of reshuffling, so I kind of just like went with Beth and like we picked out some stuff, from a box, and I don't think it was like specifically like. I know if you had gone into like Darling Way, Beth tailors a lot of the time your sex toy to you, or ask you.
Because there are so many. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of different just vibrators and then dildos and this and that and the other. So you're right. We started because Tina, you were here and it was like, okay, what do I have here?
Exactly.
And then we went through and found some things that I thought would particularly work for you.
Exactly. And so, and I do have other vibrators in a different place, ones that like I specifically went and bought for specific things, but these are ones that I had never tried. So these are like more unique, I would say, toys that aren't like what you would think of as like a typical vibrator. And I was telling my boyfriend yesterday, like that's what happened. Like that's what I was doing this week. We caught up and stuff, and he was like,
"So let's be blunt. You walked in here today. What did you say?
Oh yeah, and then we had like amazing sex.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I
So
love
maybe okay. So and then I was like obviously psychoanalyzing it, because it's not like that we weren't having great sex before, but like not I don't want to air out any like laundry or anything, but like I would say that we had like really like really good sex.
It got amped up, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Sexy fun. You can have a lot of just sexy fun, and it's good and it's great and whatever. And then sometimes you can have this absolutely, wow, that was so unusual.
Yeah.
And thank goodness for that.
Obviously, like, I'm a girl, but not all girls. Everyone does this. So I was psychoanalyzing this, and I asked Beth, I was like, why last night did we have such great sex? Now that I think about it, like, it could have been some other issues, but I do maybe think he was trying to, like, he did ask me afterwards. He was like, was that better than the toy? The toys.
Ooh.
So was he trying to compete with these sex toys that I was telling him about during like dinner and we were at the bar and stuff, which is pretty funny. Like, and I told him before, I was like, it's different. Like, it's different when you're with a guy, when you're with someone human, you like, and using sex toys or not using sex toys, and when you're just alone, like getting yourself off, like there's just, it's not the same.
Well, so that's the thing. And you said like why wouldn't some men be into vibrators and things? And it's amazing, but there is actually this fear that women are going to like their vibrator more than they're going to like their guy. And I think that's very simple. Let's be very, very clear. If you're with a woman who prefers a battery-operated, rechargeable electronic to a person, you are with the wrong person. Thank goodness for that. Because a vibrator is never going to hug them, never going to kiss them, never going to make them feel better when they're crying, never going to just snuggle. And exactly. So vibrators are not, they're props. So this is why I don't like the term sex toys. I use it because people know what it is. But to me, toys are childish and we don't take them seriously. I think of them like props. Like when you go to the theater and you pay $150 fucking bucks to go to see a show, what do they use? They use props. And believe me, they take care of those things, and they have a prop closet at the theater. And I think everybody should have a sexy prop closet at home.
And then we also had sex in the middle of the night, which is
that's awesome. So it got turned on.
Yeah.
But so I think that sometimes men get a little bit afraid, like not to know. Did you ever have that fear when you were younger, or do you hear guys talking about that, Aaron?
I mean, guys don't talk about that. We don't share our insecurities with each other. We're fucking guys.
But do you think guys compete with dildos?
Yeah, there's some guys who do. I did not really got afraid that because like when my wife got her first one, we were dating and we were dating the summer before we both went back to school in two different cities, so it was going to be long distance anyway. So I was like, well, you're going to have something to keep your mind off of things. So but the one time I ever brought it up, half serious, mostly joking, about her she'd rather be with a vibrator than me. Her words were actually pretty poignant and great. And ladies, feel free to use this. If your guy ever asks, do you like it better with the vibrator than me? She had said, I never get wet just sitting there thinking about my vibrator. I've sat there and I've gotten wet just thinking about you.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And it might be true for some. I mean, it might be a complete bullshit lie. Who knows? But apparently, guys, there's just the difference of feeling a human versus silicone or rubber whatever.
Well, that's like, ask any guy, would you prefer to have a live woman who wants to fuck you, or would you rather have a sex doll who lets you fuck them?
I don't know. They're getting pretty fancy now.
I know, but still, we would prefer. It's that we want the person to do the things we want, right?
Yeah.
That's the only time people want a sex doll, is because they can't do sexy the way they really want with the real. But if they could, they'd be like, no, give me a live person. And same thing.
Yeah.
And having a partner using a vibrator or a sexy prop with you, that is like, oh my God, like come into my play world and take me just over the top to the moon. So that's the thing. They should always be shared. You can use them by yourself, but you can also always use them together. And then the next time she uses that vibrator and she's thinking, oh God, this is what he did to me last time. Oh my God, that's hot as hell.
But don't you think that piggybacking off that, like if guys are trying to compete with the vibrator and then you say, oh, I'm going to use this vibrator in the bedroom. How would you go about that if you know that maybe your guy's a little bit insecure or doesn't, you know?
I think that's very easy. And again, this is why I use the idea of creating a romantic show, that in the bedroom or wherever you're having sex, you're trying to create this sexy show. And I say, can you imagine who's the world's, your favorite actor or something? And if it's, I don't know, who would be, I don't know, but you'd be like, if they went to a theater and they were going to be part of a play or part of a movie, can you ever imagine them saying to the director, I don't want to use any props. I don't want to worry about the background. I just want it to be me because I'm the star. No, they'd be like, please give me good lighting, give me the props, make everything good, give me a good soundtrack, right? And that's what people should be thinking about in sexy. And then it's like, you are the star. So if your guy's a little nervous, you say, hey, dude, so silly. You are the fucking star. I want you. I would do without the sexy things. It's just that those props make your show even better.
I mean, do you want it from a guy's perspective now?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's going to be much more simple and much more fucking point A to point B.
Yeah.
As a guy, now I'm not every guy, so the thought of this would turn me on. If you wanted to use a vibrator with your guy, but you were nervous about bringing it in and just dropping that on him, what you do is when you're, making out on the couch, getting hot and heavy, know it's about to happen, Then you lead him in the bedroom and say, I want to show you something. Then you lay there and you use it in front of him. Get yourself off in front of him. Let him know that you like it. And then while still using it, tell him, all right, come here and fuck me. He's much more likely, in my mind, to just go, fuck it. He's now worried more. Like, one, he already saw you come, so he knows you're excited and worked up. Two, his immediate reaction of a woman saying, come stick your dick in me is going to be, yep, what do you need? Yeah, sure. Like, that's going to bypass the
I think for a lot of guys that's true. I will
But
caution
what about-
and say some people actually need more. They need to think about things first. Again, because I have clients who in the midst of their sexy fun, they've been surprised by their partner suggesting something, and it literally has made them that freeze, like deer in the headlights. I don't know, and I don't want to fuck it up, and so therefore they're almost paralyzed.
Also, like,
So
I feel like
just
if you're
know your
getting
partner.
hot and heavy on the couch, and then you say like, "Stop! I'm gonna go use this vibrator." Like, does that not seem a little bit like, I don't know, insensitive? The fact that like you started.
No, that's
with
why you say.
foreplay.
That's why you phrase it as, "I'm going to show you something,"
Oh,
and you're
that's
putting on
cool.
like literally a show for him that you're going to masturbate with a vibrator in front of him to keep him turned on. Does that not make sense?
But
I
some
think-
guys
I
would
think
take it
like,
as that
yeah.
they're not enough, and that's why you're going to have to masturbate
Oh, well,
with the sex.
get over it. Grow a pair, Sally.
Well, but again, we all have our own different insecurities and stuff, and so that's the thing. There's not just a perfect way,
Men
but
don't
that's
get
one
insecure,
way.
Beth. Haven't you? Heard
That's
that?
a whole nother issue.
Yes,
Actually, that's going to be
exactly.
our next week.
Kidding.
Tune
Yeah.
in if you want to talk about male insecurities.
Yes.
Yay!
Yes,
I get
But-
to acknowledge some demons.
Oh my gosh, yes, it's terrible. But so I think to talk though, and I think to reference and to recognize how it's going to elevate things for the both of you. That and it can be that, well, I use a vibrator when you're not there because I can't do it as well by myself. My hands don't work as well as you do, so I have to supplement. And oh, by the way, then this is just another tool. Maybe that's it, right? If you want to hammer in a nail, then you get a fucking hammer. Well, if you want to stimulate a woman to orgasm and stuff, there are lots of ways to do it with lots of different vibes. You can certainly use your mouth, your hands, you can accent, but there's all sorts of fun things. And then I think, and let's just clarify. So vibrators are things that vibrate. All right. So generally those are the electronic.
Yeah,
and by the way,
I had to explain this to my boyfriend yesterday. So this is like actually something that I feel like a lot of guys. What is the difference between a dildo and a vibrator?
yeah. And that's exactly it. And people, and they are getting confused now, but with vibrators, let me just throw out there, please do not buy anything where you have to replace the batteries anymore. You shouldn't have to do that. There are almost everything is rechargeable, and those prices should be reasonable. You can spend more replacing C batteries than you do just buying a rechargeable prop. So that's my thought. But then the dildo is a phallic something that is designed for penetration, and it doesn't necessarily, in fact, it doesn't usually vibrate. But this is where they're confusing things, because they are making ones that look very much like realistic cocks and balls, and then they're putting some electronics in them so that they look like dildos, but they are vibrating too. So the line is getting crossed. But it used to be that dildo was non-moving, and it was just a phallic shaped something. Most often like cock and ball. I'm sitting here holding a purple cock and ball. This is what I use to teach my my blowjob class how to blow his mind while loving his body, and I just love it. So I just sit here and squeeze it. It's as close to a cock as I really get, and I carry it with me. No, I don't carry it with me all the time, but it is very nice. And here's the fun thing. If you are by yourself or even with a partner, dildos are great for penetrating, and then you can even use a vibrator. Like if I was by myself, I could penetrate with the dildo and use a vibrator on my clit. Tons of fun. If I was with a partner, then hello, double penetration is actually a possibility with one cock and a dildo. So that is kind of a fun thing for people who have, again, threesome fantasies or just a desire to try double penetration and without bringing anybody else in. So, and you can do double penetration with a dildo and a cock, and then you can be stimulating the clit with a vibe. And I'm pretty sure that's going to send most women into a level of ecstasy that you can't do just with your own body. So this is why it's important to have extra props.
Yeah. I mean, we're approaching this as, most of our listeners aren't know nothing about it. This is all completely foreign territory. And for some people it is, for very few. I mean, in 2020, the global sex toy market was over $33 billion.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing?
It's not just 3 chicks that are driving that fucking money.
Oh, yeah. No. I say
it's
good
a lot
times
more.
and bad.
Very unsatisfied
Sex,
women.
divorce, and alcohol always sell. Good times and bad.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So
Sexy is big business. But we don't know. And even like Tina was saying, the people don't understand the difference between a dildo and a vibe.
And not every dildo works for everyone.
Of course not. So. No, different.
Which I have
different props. So,
experience.
Yeah. Okay. So one thing I've got. So in terms of, and one of the reasons we're doing this is because, again, if you just walk into some store or you go online, hell, you go to one of the trade shows that I go to, I'm telling you, there are like 3,000 different vibrators. It's overwhelming. It's really hard to sort through and figure out what's quality and what's not. So here's my thought. I kind of break vibrators. I think that's one category of sexy props, and a very big one for men and for women. And I break, for women, I say the vibrators are like shoes. Every woman needs a pair of flip-flops, sneakers, black walking shoes, black pumps. After that, everything's optional. So in other words, don't look for the perfect vibrator. There's not one. They're just different categories. So, but I wanted to start with what I think is the sneaker of the vibrators, because it's big, it's clunky, it's ugly, but oh my God, is it comfortable and gets the frickin' job done for.
And you'll see this one in porn a lot.
Yes. So
a lot.
You know what it's called? Had you heard of this before, Aaron?
Yeah.
What's it called?
A magic wand.
Yes. Ding, ding, ding. Yes. Magic wand. Invented by Hitachi in like 1972. Remained the same until about 2015 when they finally figured out how to get the same amount of power into a rechargeable. But in fact, actually, it was only 90% of the power, but they realized the extra 10% was wasted because really it's so strong. And it's used in more sex research around the world also. And here's the clincher. If you're with a woman who has trouble orgasming.
It's the best thing. I mean, it's amazing.
It is. It's in research, 95% of women, whether or not they've ever orgasmed before or not in their life, will orgasm with the magic wand. So, all right, this one I have is the corded one. But have you ever felt one?
Yeah.
Aaron? Okay. So I'm going to play it. Listen. That's the low speed. And I tell people all the time the way to do. Oh, and by the way, for men, have you ever had this like on your taint area under your balls? Oh my God, it can feel so good because it can stimulate the prostate there, right? That's the exterior access and tons of fun. So vibrators also can be used on men. Hello, even by yourself. And there are different attachments, even to the magic wand, that you can get that are strokers and things. But if you put this up against your belly, oh my goodness, you can feel it all the way down into your crotch area and stuff. It's just so fun. And women can, you can use it between a person and the bed. If you're laying on top and being penetrated from behind, you can use it. If you're in missionary position, you can put it between the two of you. And I know it's big and clunky, but because it's big, it actually will kind of stay in place versus small vibes in between. Y'all get lost.
It's amazing. It's amazing. It will always remind me of Brookstone Brothers because every time you'd go in there, you'd see those back massagers.
Yeah.
Remember that store?
They are not as good.
Yeah, but they're always so funny because they look basically like they look and I think sort of are the same thing, like idea-wise. Yeah. And I was just like, this is the funniest thing to get like your dad as like a Father's Day gift because it just looks like an enormous fucking vibrator.
Yes, and it is. And it's amazing though. So, and then, let's see, vibrators were invented because women early 1900s, late 1800s and early 1900s were diagnosed with hysteria all the time. And they would go to the doctor's office and what would the doctor do? Manually stimulate them to orgasm. And they would call that tension relief. And so then vibrators were invented as big box things in doctor's offices to save the male doctor's hands, right? Not for women, of course, but for men. But from 1920 to 1950, they were sold in the Sears Roebuck catalog. They were advertised in the Good Housekeeping and stuff. There was no mention of sexy pleasure, no mention of orgasm. They would just talk about the tension release, that it was good for your moods. It would make you a better wife, a better mother. It just would help you sleep.
Hey, they're not actually lying.
No, that's absolutely true. That's what orgasm does for us, is it makes everything better. It elevates our mood. And it wasn't until the 50s where then they started associating with sex and then they shut the fuckers down. So
okay, so you were saying that corded version of the magic wand has more power, 10% more power than the rechargeable one.
Correct.
Have you ever taken either of them up to max?
Yes.
On yourself?
Yes.
Not as a demonstration, on
Yes.
yourself.
Oh, yes, for sexy pleasure. So
I think so. I think it hurts.
it can hurt. So that's the thing. I tell people, if you just hold it against the clit, it's like grinding the gears. It's just way too much. So you have to really build up and that edging and stuff. So it took me almost a month before I liked my magic wand. I hated it the first couple of times because it was so strong. I couldn't hold it on my clit long enough to get to the point of orgasm. It was like, no. So you really have to use it to turn someone on, get them all hot and bothered. And then at the very end, that's when then you're so turned on that you can hold it to the clit for a few seconds and it's going to make them erupt. And so yeah, there's on the rechargeable, on the original one, there was only 2 speeds. And I say, killer and death. And on the rechargeable one, there's 4 speeds and 4 patterns. And I don't remember patterns to save my life ever. I can't. There's only one pattern out of every sexy prop that I've sold in the past, God knows how many years and things, one pattern that I know. And it is on the rechargeable magic wand. And it goes, and then it takes you down. And it goes, and every time my guy would start to turn that on, I would start screaming because it was torture. It was just torture. I was like, let me fucking come, let me come, let me come, let me come. And that's the only pattern I remember out of everything. So it is memorable. And if you're a single guy, I promise you, have that in your house. Because actually, that's where I learned about it. Before I got into this business, I dated a guy who brought it out. And I was, the next day, I was like, I have to have one now.
Would that not creep you out?
No.
That he's been using it with other bitches?
Okay, well, yeah. So I definitely want to make sure it was clean.
Yes, you can clean. You can clean it. Come on, we go to the gynecologist's office and they reuse things. We go have surgery, open heart surgery. They're reusing things.
Yes,
you
but
have
guess
to get
what?
clean.
There's a difference between trusting a doctor's office and their level of cleanliness because you can sue them over that.
Okay,
versus, hey man, how exactly did you clean it? Oh, I'll rinse it off. Okay, what'd you rinse it off with? Oh, just a towel.
Yeah. Okay. So, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
Feel free to use a condom. Again, if you're going to fuck him and you're going to trust him to put a condom over his cock, you can put a condom over the vibrator and you can put a condom over the magic wand. Absolutely. So that way you're guaranteed. Easy peasy. But I promise you, it is so well worth it. And really, again, I was new to dating and stuff and I dated him and I used it. And the next day, that was the very first vibrator I bought after I separated from my husband. It was it was the next day. And I would have clients even now who tell me their magic wand broke yesterday. They need it today. That's just what it is. It's that good.
Can you
there
take
are lots
it in
of
the shower?
knockoffs. No, it's not that waterproof, I think. You can take it on car rides. The rechargeable one, by the way, it's awesome. But it's not designed for water, lots of water, like it can get wet. But and wait, what was I? Shit, I was just saying something and I forgot what it was. But anyway,
About having to replace it the very next day.
yeah, but no. Oh, recharging it. I tell people all the time, just plan to plug it in every 2 weeks or something. Like I've never had mine die, but it works so well, but you'd never want it to die midway. So just charge it on a regular basis in between things or something. Because it is the one, like when you can't get your head into sexy, you're so uptight and you need it. The magic wand, 95% of women will orgasm, period. It's just incredible. So yeah, fun. All right. Should we talk about
we moved
men?
on from guess we'll call it the goat of all vibrators. What else you got?
Yeah. All right. So what about men? You know what the Fleshlight is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
still describe it for everybody.
Okay. So Fleshlight, I forget when it started, 20 years ago or something in Japan. It looks like a flashlight, but they made it was called a pussy pocket because inside you would take like the exterior, the big end of the flashlight off, and it was a male stroker. It was made of really good silicone. So it was fairly realistic feeling, like a woman, and it was very tight. And so traveling men could take it and basically self-pleasure, stroke themselves with it to orgasm, and then wash it out, put it back and carry it around with them. And because it looked like a flashlight, they thought they were getting away with something, but now everybody knows it. But now they've taken it, and there are actually strokers that are, that also do vibrate, that have some heat and have some suction, like more electronic suction to them. So I say, men, don't think that just because she's got vibrators that you can't. There are fun ones for you and all sorts of stroking. And what cracks me up with the Fleshlights and all these different strokers, sometimes you can get them to pretend they're an ass. You can get them to pretend they're like a mouth. You can get them based on a particular porn star's actual physique. They literally have porn stars. They mold them. And even inside. So it's all sorts of interesting and fun and different. And again, sometimes women might be like, oh, why does he need that? I'm like, again, we should all be self-pleasuring. The more that we think about sexy and the more we enjoy it, the more we want it and the more then intimacy there can be together. So I think that if you've got a partner who travels all the time, sending them off with different sexy props in their suitcase and stuff can be tons of fun. And sometimes there's actually these little Tenga eggs that look like the Easter egg hunt from Easter eggs that you hunt and stuff. They're plain white. They've got plastic. They're not used they're for one use, but you open them and inside is a very compact but stretchable sort of pussy pocket. And so men can use that to stroke. So you can do like sexy Skype or sexy Zoom and all sorts of fun things. And it's a really nice surprise for guys to open their suitcase and find something sexy from their partner, I think. So, yeah, there
Cool.
you go.
What else?
Okay, so the one that's new and different, or relatively the new technology, the suction ones. Have you tried those, Aaron?
No.
Okay. Have you tried them?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't like them.
Okay. So how would you describe them to somebody?
It's like specifically, I would say it's something mostly that you use on your clit, but I know other people can use it on their nipples. I know that people have done it other places, but I think it was traditionally designed to be used like on top of your clit, and it's like supposed to mimic, I guess, like when someone's sucking on your clit.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That did not. So I used it and my roommate used it. And neither of us really liked it. So I don't know.
But you only used it once.
I only used it once. She actually owns one.
Okay.
So I don't know if she this was like at the beginning because she had used it and then was like, oh, it's not working. Like you try it. We cleaned it. Obviously you try it. And I tried it and I was like, oh, I kind of see what you mean. And then I didn't use it again. And then I don't know what happened with her. I never really, I didn't follow up on this. So
okay, well, so the suction, basically you'll get some of them. The Womanizer was the original inventor of the technology that is what we call suction for clitorises. And so they would have these big clunky plasticky handle. I didn't like them. I didn't like the way they felt. I thought they were kind of cheapy, and I couldn't ever get a good suction, a good seal from a Womanizer on my clit. It just didn't work. So the suction, if you don't have a good seal, doesn't really do it. So think of it, it's a little bit like a vacuum cleaner, I guess, on your clit. It's like, it's supposed to mimic oral sex. And so then I've tried several different ones, and finally I found this little one that was actually a satisfier that was amazing. But I thought it was so painful the first few times that I never got to orgasm with it. And it was only one night when I was just desperate, again, that I know I need an orgasm. I'm so stressed out. I need something. And I had to basically reprogram my brain to think, instead of it being like, oh, this is so painful, because, oh my God, it was so much sensation on my clit. I literally just thought, okay, no, this is just sensation. And I just sank into it. I forced myself to just breathe and go, wow, that's strong. That's strong. That's strong. And then before I knew it, oh my God, I had an orgasm like I've never had before in my life. And in fact, it made me squirt like crazy. Like crazy. I soaked my sheets. I soaked my bed. It was really bad. So now I can only use the suction ones if I've got a waterproof blanket under me, or I have several towels. Literally several towels, because one towel is not enough. But that's what it does to me, is that level. So pee first, by the way. If you're going to try a suction vibe, pee first. But so that's part of what I'm saying, is like the magic wand. These things that are so powerful and that are new can take us a while to figure out how it works for us and if it works for us. Mm-hmm. And maybe. So don't be afraid of that. Yeah. Just, especially if there are lots of people talking about it and stuff, because some things are just they're not very strong. They're not designed very well, because I've tried a bunch of other suction ones from different companies. And again, they don't seal as well. So they don't get the intensity that I kind of like. And then there are some where you can do they have suction on one end and penetrative also. And those can be cool. Sometimes it can be a lot. So I'm somebody who prefers, I'd rather have suction. If I've got a dildo in, I still want it separate. It's just, I don't know. I want the option. But there are lots of great ones. I think there's something's dog. I forgot. Some dog, something that's popular these days. Again, I tried it and I didn't like it. And that's okay. Everybody has their own different thing. But I think a suction is its own category of vibrator, kind of like it's the high heel. And it is there. But if your partner really likes it, by the way, do not orgasm from the suction all the time. I say it should be one in every 6 or 8 orgasms, because otherwise it really can program you to only orgasm that way. And I think, by the way, that's the complaint. Have you heard men who say or women who are afraid that, they'll get hooked on a vibrator or they'll lose sensation from a vibrator if they use it too often or something?
I mean, I haven't heard that, no.
Okay. That's one thing I had heard.
I can understand people worrying about it.
No? Okay, maybe it was my generation, but because it's not really true. It's just that with orgasm for anybody, you need to do it in different ways. Left hand, right hand, stand up, sit down, left side, right side. And the same thing with different props. So don't ever use just the same thing, the same fantasy over and over and over again.
Okay. Well, before we change gears on, we've gone over men's toys, women's toys. We should probably get into couples toys.
Oh.
And then we should probably also get into butt stuff at some point. But before we do that, if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, do all three of us here a favor and make sure you go and you rate it 5 stars. You leave a review. Let people know that you like the podcast. Let us know what you like. Leave a review. If you're not listening on Apple Podcasts, well, go listen on Apple Podcasts and do it. Or just find a way to share it with your friends or share it with somebody different. Let them know that they should be listening to us because, well, we're fun and we talk about sex and everybody has sex. So
yeah, if each of y'all could please, if you could think of 2 people that you like that would love to laugh with us and would love to come with us, please send them. Just send an episode and just say, here, Beth asked me to send it to people. There you go. You don't even have to talk with them about it, but really we would be grateful. We are expanding our reach and we love it. But again, it's our dream. We're trying to get up so we can take this show on the road and come to visit you wherever you are. So please help us make that happen.
Yep. All right. So what do we want to dive in first? Butt stuff or couples stuff?
I don't know. Y'all decide. I mean, I used some butt ones this week.
Well, let's go into your exploration of butt stuff.
All right.
And
So
butt
tell
toys.
us.
So
Tell us about your butt, Tina. We want to hear all about your butt.
what were the ones I used? I used something called vibrating beads
Okay. So anal beads.
that vibrate.
Yeah. So those go in. And again, with anal stuff, there's 2 different sensations. Some people like a fullness, like a big butt plug or a big dildo or a vibrator
These
or something
were
in their butt.
longer,
But
they weren't.
beads, right, are the popping. It's the sphincters at the beginning, at the opening to the ass that basically spreads open with the bead and then closes
Yeah.
and stuff. It's that sensation basically
Yeah,
of your
so they
butt
start
opening.
out small and then they get bigger and bigger. I mean, it wasn't super long. It wasn't sticking a hose up there. I
Yeah.
would say
Well,
it's
you've got
about
20 feet of colon
about
inside.
as long as, and it's got a tapered base, and that's where the button is.
Yeah, so heads up, do not ever stick anything up your butt or anybody else's butt if it doesn't have a big flared base at the bottom. Big flared. Because otherwise the butt's a vacuum and it sucks things up. And our
know
pussies
that
are a dead end.
very well.
We can find things and pull things out of our pussies, but butts have 20 feet of colon. So that vacuum cleaner, you'll end up at the sex sent me to the ER. So don't do that.
So it was good. It's Tina endorsed. So I thought it was a fairly good toy. I thought that you can use it. I tried it in both holes. I don't think it's specifically for one. Maybe it was made for the ass, but I
Right.
think you can do it in both. I think
Yes.
it also vibrates pretty well, so you can even just put it on your clit. It's maybe not made for that, but you can use it for that, whatever you want.
Be creative. I
Yeah.
say be creative. Use things as many different ways as you want, except don't stick anything up the butt without a
Yeah.
flared base. In the pussy, again, you've got lots of latitude.
So-
did this, it had a remote control?
on it.
Just,
So
okay.
on the tapered base, it had a button.
Okay.
And the button, I guess, control. So I thought it was a fairly good toy.
good.
I wasn't the most amazing toy ever. No, but it was, I would say, approved. And then the other,
Did you know, like for the butt stuff, the popping, it's designed basically to go in and out. That's kind of the thing.
I figured that.
Okay.
He didn't use the lawnmower technique on you, did he?
No, this
What's
is my
lawnmower technique?
Well, you got the anal bead, you grab and you rip like a
Oh
lawnmower.
my God! And you rip out. Okay, be careful with
It was
that.
a joke. Don't ever do that.
Gosh.
It was a fucking joke. Don't ever do that. It was.
I mean, maybe
See,
give it
another
enough
reason why I
lube,
hate
but,
yard
like,
work.
Holy shit!
Ouch. Wow.
It was a joke. Don't ever
Okay.
try that on somebody. It's an old joke.
I
That
hadn't heard it.
I don't know if anybody it's just a joke that friends of mine we would mess around with and laugh about. But yes.
That's
so
funny.
no, I did not mow the lawn. So Fair Good Toy approved. And then the other one I used
Do you
was
know people? Right, we've talked about this, but women can have anal orgasms, and certainly men can have all sorts of anal orgasms. so.
yeah. And then I used, which I thought was better than this one.
Yeah.
Which I also think maybe. So the only gripe I kind of had with this one is it is a little long. Like for me, like I get the idea of anal beads, but
Right.
like the other one I used was basically, it was like a butt plug, small, it wasn't like huge, that vibrates.
Right.
Or that's the idea. And so again, you could use it in other creative ways, but that one I really liked because I could see myself using that with a partner.
Yeah, double
yeah.
between. You
Yeah.
could have that in, and your partner can be in your pussy, and that's double penetration.
Yeah.
And for women, the area between, I said the cock and the hard spot is erogenous tissue. So it's good stuff, that tissue between the pussy and the
Yeah.
ass.
So I really enjoyed that one. It was black, not that has anything
Yeah, you can
to
get
do
them
with
in
it.
any color, right? They come in all sorts of different colors, and butt plugs come in all sorts of different sizes.
Yeah.
So you can start small and basically graduate.
Well, I actually had never used a vibrating butt plug.
Uh-huh.
So this was actually a pretty fairly, so I had two. I think I got like a varied amount of, I didn't use it, I haven't used it with a partner, but I could 100% see myself using the black one with a part, like the smaller, like butt plug black one with a partner. I think it's great. Could be great to use with a partner.
Yeah.
Maybe someone who like my boyfriend isn't too keen on anal. Like we've done it, but so I would say like it's a great way to like get that, get what you want, find that good like medium maybe sometimes when your partner's not too into it. So, and then the other two toys didn't have anything to do with anal, so I can review them and stuff. We already went through one of them. It was a clit stimulator that looks like a tiny octopus.
Yeah,
that's
it was
supposed to
one that
mimic
I
fingers.
said, right, it was just super cute. It's fun. It's a different shape. And I call that sort of one of the optional high heels because it is different. Like if a person says,
For
I've
sure,
had all
definitely
sorts
different.
of vibrators and stuff. I'm like, well, here, try this.
Yeah.
But it is fun. But I'm with you. It wasn't enough stimulation
Yeah.
for me to orgasm, but it definitely was a lot to get turned
was
on. It was
so
like silly
different
fun.
that I didn't know what in the beginning I went on their website and looked at like all the different ways they recommended that you use it, because I was like, because really, I'll be honest, like it wasn't working just on my clit, and I was like, am I doing something wrong? Is this not going in the place it's supposed to go? Like, what the fuck is this supposed to be doing? So I went on their website and like I was like, okay, yeah, and it's not. It just isn't working, or I don't know. In this situation, it didn't work for me. So maybe.
And again, because I don't think you should just rule out a sexy prop based on the first time. I say, the best actors have rehearsals. That's why they do it. It takes a while to learn how to work things and how to make them work for you and with you. So, but you tried that once and I'm like, yeah, that it may or may not be that great, but then because you can't return vibes and stuff like that. So you're there, but then you just find different ways to do it. And playing with that, for example, under a guy's balls and stuff also can be tons of fun, because men they get the shaft. They have a shaft, but they get the shaft.
Well,
when it
on the
comes to
website
sexy
it said
things,
like you could do it on your nipples.
Yes.
You could do it. Yeah, you could do it on the shaft. So basically, it's like supposed to. What I didn't like about it is I thought that the finger simulation was too small, like because fingers aren't that small, and the little pointed nodes are just like kind of too nodey. Like this is almost, I think, maybe like looks more like a finger. Like I'm showing her. It's
so there
similar.
are things that have kind of the rabbit ears or something. And,
Yeah.
you know, a rabbit vibrator, you know, it's funny. People think, I guess there is a brand now that's calling themselves the Rabbit, but really Rabbit vibrator was just a style. It was a shaft with something extra that might look like 2 ears that would stimulate the clit. But it became the Rabbit because in Japan at some point 50 years ago or so, it was illegal to sell sexy things that were phallic shaped. So they had to try to disguise vibrators by making them look more animalistic, like cute little animals. I don't mean animalistic in terms of primal, but and so one design, this one that had the shaft and this little thing to stimulate the clit, they called the Rabbit, and that's how that became known. And so now everything we use it generically for a shaft and clit stimulation versus just a straight vibrator.
So there's that one, and then the last one I used was interesting in concept. So I also think that like you do have to think about like utility when it comes to vibrators. So are you traveling with it? You know, like the magic wand, like are you going to go on a vacation where you're checking or not checking your bag? Do you really want TSA to be going through your bag and find a giant magic wand on top, or you know, something like that? Like
I actually think my bags for a while got searched every single time I traveled, and then when I stopped traveling with so many sexy things, I actually was disappointed. I felt bad for TSA agents because they were looking forward to. I'm sure my file is like, oh, she's got sexy things, but
this is you. Not all people
I
are like, as I would say, like do you want something more discreet or you know?
But here's the thing: if you do travel, there are vibrators. Like Fun Factory makes vibrators that have travel locks. Yeah. So before you put them in your suitcase to be checked, you can turn them on travel mode. So even if the button is pushed, they won't start vibrating. Yeah. Because also I have been stopped in Japan for vibrating things in my suitcase, and that's pretty fun. But again,
but you can't. Yes. I don't think you can lock your vibrator in it because like you have to have, you know, they want to be able to check.
Right, but if you turn it on, if you use the travel lock mode, they won't just start vibrating in the middle, which is
very important.
Very key. So
if you let's say if you take it to even like if you take it to work or something, you know,
right,
you don't want a vibrator like going off in the middle of a meeting or stuff.
Yeah,
so,
been there, done that too. So yes. But yeah, so you have to think about it. And I have a friend who had just recently took a vacation, cleaned and packed her vibrators and stuff, got all the way to whatever country she was going to, and she had forgotten the fucking charger, and that just sucks. So make sure you keep them together and travel carefully.
That all the vibrators or a lot of the vibrators you gave me did work with like some sort of universal cable, so it wasn't like it was like an Android-esque looking cable. Some did.
Yes, some do and some don't. So you can't count on it.
But again, I would think about utility. Like if you are a type of person who maybe does forget your chargers all the time, maybe do get, you know, like find something.
Yeah, it's really hard to find a vibrator that matches a kind of cord that you want. I would tell you. Yeah.
I mean, the ones that you gave, like a couple of them did. So I wouldn't say that it's like
I think
impossible.
because they buy the same company. I think that makes a difference.
No. Like it worked with something I had at home that was just like a basic Android charger. Huh. So I'm not saying that like all of them have to be, but I'm saying that you can find some that do work with maybe. But anyways, so the last one I will say was in terms of utility, it was small. You could plug it into any USB. So that one does work. So if you don't like chargers, you don't want to bring, you know, tons of things, you can just bring this and plug it into any USB to charge. It was small. It was about the size of like a Juul. Like I'm going to be honest, it literally almost looked like a Juul pen, like a vape pen.
Oh yeah.
So I thought that like maybe, you know, it was
more discreet. It was very elegant looking and small and discreet.
But it wasn't super powerful. It didn't really do it for me. Again, I maybe it was just like it didn't work for me, but I only used it once, and I'll disclaimer that with all these things.
Well, but so that there are some necklaces. There's a brand that makes necklaces, and they hang a vibrator at the end. And I've had a couple of those and tried them because I have friends who just think they're so awesome. And you can wear them in public. I mean, some people will know what it is, but it's kind of funny. If anybody knows, then they're in the know. But I have never found them to be strong enough to actually get me to orgasm. And so I didn't actually sell very many of them because I thought they were cool accessories. I didn't think they were great vibrators. Yeah. But hopefully they're still improving them and making different things.
So those are the four, and I thought they were varied enough. And then we can talk about now, you know, I would say like let's end on couples. Like How do we use these?
Couples Vibe. So We Vibe is a company that started, I don't know, 20 years ago or so. And they were the very first ones that recognized that if they could design something to be sort of wearable during penetration, then everybody would win. And so they designed, it looks like a U shaped, and it's made of silicone. Again, silicone is really well done these days, body safe, friendly materials, and makes, I think, the best quality in vibrators and things. I think that old jelly, those jelly vibrators and stuff that felt squishy and gross and sticky, you shouldn't get. So anyway, this is a little U. It's adjustable. One part, how would you describe this part? Like, it goes into the pussy. It hits the G-spot.
It looks like a spoon without the caving in. It caves out.
Yes. Okay. So it caves up so that the exterior, like, it hits the G spot.
Yeah.
Right. So it'll fit in the picture of the roof of your mouth is kind of like the roof of a pussy. That goes in, and then it's connected. It gets to a skinny little adjustable, I don't know what you call it, but anyway. And then on the exterior,
like a fulcrum, basically.
See, I knew I'd never come up with that word. And then on the exterior is a thicker part that hits the clit. So you can have, and the inside vibrates on the G spot, and then the exterior vibrates on the clit. And then on the bottom of that G spot spoon, it's flat so that a cock can slide in underneath it. And now, caveat is, if you have a very thick cock, heads up, you better use really, really, really good lube, because Aaron, if you feel like the silicone, it's a super soft feel, but if you're basically rubbing against it, like fucking in and out, it's going to wear on your cock very, very quickly, and you're going to get like a serious rug burn. Chafing, yes. So, and all right, let's also talk lube. So people say, oh, don't use a silicone lube with silicone props because they'll erode the prop. Hello. Silicone lube is really, really, really slick. It is the most long-lasting of lubes. There are different categories of lubes, but I'd rather you replace the prop than get your cock irritated. So particularly with a couples vibe like this, where a cock is rubbing up against silicone, I'd say use silicone lube. Make it a good one. Don't use something that makes you poop and stuff. But good lube. Yeah, some silicone lubes have glycerin in it that makes you poop. Is it glycerin or, sorry, my brain's fried. Or what's there's another thing. Anyway, but some lubes can make you poop. I think it is glycerin, and sometimes they're used in laxatives for that. So anyway, so this little U-shaped WeVibe thing, nowadays they have app controlled. So you could actually wear this out and about. A woman could wear it. It would stay in her pussy and put tight underwear on underneath. And then from somebody's phone, they can control it, which is all sorts of takes, sexy play into the public without anybody else knowing, and tons of fun. Or you can, there's a remote control. So all sorts of tons of fun. I don't think it's the best just for like a woman getting to orgasm, but it is awesome when it comes to app play or penetrative with a partner. So, and maybe if somebody's worried about using it together, maybe introducing your partner to one that is designed for both of you to use, that might be a really easy way of saying, here, I got this for us to play with tonight. And they understand her this week or something. Mm-hmm. So it can be a great way. But yeah, those are super cool and fun. And by the way, now, remember that The Ugly Truth, that scene where she's wearing a panty vibe and the remote? There is a really great, WeVibe makes a really great Moxie panty vibe that is also app controlled. Again, so much fun. And then there are companies that make insertable eggs that are app controlled. So I think app controlled and remote control.
What about some would you recommend some, this maybe not like a full on endorsement, but where would people start if they wanted to look online, I would say, or, if they didn't have a shop?
You can go to darlingway.com and look. You can look at sarahsecret.com and, again, talk to somebody if you can, even if you're shopping in places virtually. I know so much about these, but I'm telling you, I do not buy vibes until I've actually seen them or talked to somebody about it for myself. And even at the shop, I would never buy something to stock that I didn't actually see, because some of them just smell bad. Like the materials are bad. Some of them are just not body safe materials. Some of them don't have great warranties. So to me, good ones should have at least a 1-year warranty with a company who's going to stand behind them. And I think FemFun is another company. I freaking love their stuff.
You talk about WeVibe.
FemFun. Yeah, WeVibe is good. They're still having trouble with their app, I have to say. The remote control works, but the app, they did have a little issue with, a lawsuit, but they're figuring out the privacy things, how long they can keep info. But that they need to work on before I give them a wholehearted, oh, absolutely. But they are by far and away, they're the leader in app stuff because everybody else is just trying to follow in their wake. They're not doing it as well.
It was started by women, right? WeVibe or
that I don't recall. I don't recall. But I think you need, this is why, so even though I don't own the shop anymore, I still do a lot of private shopping for clients because it really depends on who you are and what you want. And I was dealing with a lesbian yesterday who was looking for something that she and her partner could use during, basically, when they're just sort of on top of each other. They want something, a vibe that they can both be feeling at the same time. And I had some ideas for them, but I don't know. It's such a personal thing.
Penetration.
So yes, actually, and I had a vibe. Oh, I forgot where I put it, but it's a U-shaped one that both vibrates, and those are great for women. So that's what I'm definitely sending to them. They're going to have all sorts of fun with it.
But if you have questions, email us.
Yeah,
Beth
email us because we'll
literally the expert. She has talked to so many people I have brought in, friends, anyone about vibrators. I think I would know this spiel by heart now.
You know a lot of them and stuff.
So, but it changes for everyone. I can honestly tell you that it's never the same advice for anyone I've ever seen her give it to. It's always personal, which is exactly what you talk about,
Right, because we need that. We each have different ideas, and so I can give you big scope things and stuff, but then we can factor in price. But really, the one I do stand behind is I really think the magic wand is kind of a given for everybody.
Yeah,
I think a suction one is pretty much every woman should have one, even though it's really hard to do. And I do. I think the satisfiers for the suction ones are by far and away, they are the best price. The value is incredible. They're like under $75 and they're great and they have a good warranty. So.
Okay. Well, we'll go into another final question here in just a second. And then we'll kind of wrap things up and get out of here. But first...
Oh, okay. Well, let me tell you about Sexy Ed School, because that sexyedschool.com, that's where you can go and find, I've got 2 classes up there on, one is the art of orally pleasuring her, and the other is how to blow his mind while loving his body. You can get the twofer, his and her oral pleasure. Watch them with a partner, watch them, even if you're a man, watch both of them, because I swear you will learn a lot about where the other gender is coming from, because there's so much.
Literally.
Sexy is, yes, literally, but it's all about our heads, and we really do. We need to be able to get our heads, our bodies, and our heart all aligned for the best sexy pleasure. And then there's also, guys, there is one just for you, and it's about how to increase your orgasm, maybe even up to 10 times through prostate pleasure and using a prostate massager. So sexyedschool.com. I promise you, people are having so much fun. They're learning so much. I hate to toot my own horn, but I'm telling you, don't ask me to cook dinner for your family because I would likely burn it or undercook it. So, but truly what I do really well is I help explain blowjobs and cunnilingus. So how to make out with a pussy, how to blow his mind, and how to enjoy a prostate. I really do that well. Check it out. And frankly, money back guarantee. If you don't like it, watch the whole thing and send me and tell me why you didn't like it, and I will just refund it because I believe in it, and I want a feedback. But also, you can use the promo code "Come with Us." I think that's all caps. Come with us, and you can get
all one word.
You can get a discount at sexyedschool.com. So come with us and let me know. Watch them, and please, send us questions, feedback. Let us know what you want to know. And if you want more information about specific vibes and props and things like that, then I might even offer just a video thing because people need to see them and stuff. But anyway, give me a holler. This is so much fun. And really, you should. No, don't be afraid, and just have rehearsals for all sorts of different fun, sexy props.
All right. So speaking of money back guarantees and stuff like that, for what about the couple that is more cost conscious and doesn't want to just run out and buy a $60, $70, $100, $200 toy, whether for one, for the other, or for both of them to use, and they're scared that they're going to blow $200 on this thing and it's not going to do what they want it to do. And then, like you said, you can't return them. So that's yours.
Right.
What kind of advice do you offer for people who go, man, or a woman who goes, I really want a vibrator. This magic wand, it's $60 though, but if I spend that $60 and I don't like it, what the fuck am I going to do with it?
Okay, so you know me, frankly, Aaron, you know me really well, but y'all know me also, and I really don't oversell things. I'm so worried about disappointing people that I very much try to understate things. I would still say that the rechargeable magic wand is worth saving your money for. That and you can.
How much is it about?
So the magic wand should retail somewhere probably around $149, $160 and stuff. Different places will actually put it on periodic specials. And I know that
Black Friday maybe, or Christmas, maybe they do.
Yeah, I don't know. Actually, so here's the thing. I would suggest if you go to Sarah's Secret and sign up for their newsletter and come to one of my Sarah's Secret, I do a free monthly workshop for them. If you go there, then oftentimes I can give away a promo code then that you can use on almost any item. You can do that. And that's a really good way to use that promo code and to get a magic wand. But even at $150, I'm telling you, it's going to last you 5 to 10 years. It is big and bulky, but you will have to figure out how to use it. But I promise you, once you have it, it is the sneaker. It's the one that everybody is going to enjoy the most, the long term.
But but also you can buy a vibrator for
less. Absolutely.
Less.
So now you absolutely can. But so that is one I just think there's not another equivalent for. Almost everything else, there are equivalents. So for example, the Satisfier suctions, like I said, those are under $75. Some maybe even $50. And again, I would not just buy it from some no name on the internet, because a lot of times they take things back. They do things. I just don't quite trust them. Find a reputable dealer, professional. Like I said, Sarah's Secret, Darling Way. I know these people. And believe me, if you have any issues, you just talk to me and I'll help get it through. But they take care of their people and their products and they stand behind them. So to me, that's it. But so that's a great price. There's there's a brand named Rianne, Rianne. They make some really great products. A rabbit for like $89 or something like that. That is great with a good warranty. FemFun, another company with incredibly reasonable, under $100 prices, and they're going to stand by things. But this is what you need to know is, like, I would have a brand at the shop and suddenly I would get in a shipment where I'd get several returns because maybe the factory, had some problems and stuff. And I would stop carrying them until they had a new shipment. So you want to work with the retailer who is going to pay attention to things like that and make sure that you're not getting mistakes and making errors. Because you do. I'm very cautious. I don't spend money unless I know that I'm going to get a good value for it. And that's what I want to help y'all do. So be smart, talk to people. And like I said, even if you're shopping virtually, if you can't get somebody on the phone to walk you through, then find a different retailer. And if you need to, let me know and I'll find you one. So there's also Pepper's Parties in Mobile or something. I forgot where they are in Alabama. So there are lots of different ones. Fillmore in California and Oakland. So you let me know where you are and I promise you I can put you in touch with somebody good to take care of you well.
Yeah. All right. Well,
sweet.
Yeah.
That's
a lot about sex toys that we just talked about.
Everybody to have. Oh my gosh. And I love, like, I've given my family members and my daughters different vibes. And, it's just younger, my friends' kids and everything are getting their first vibrators from me. And it's such an honor to do this. And it's so important. And everybody should.
Do you think there's an age for using a vibrator?
So this is where, we're not supposed to think about anybody under 18 having sex, right? That is not supposed to be allowed.
I mean, that's just the dumbest thing ever, I think.
Yes. So I think that it's not the vibrator that is as necessary, but the conversations about self-pleasure are very important, because I think that that boys get in messages from different movies and stuff. They'll see stories about boys, masturbating and self-pleasuring and taking long showers. So that becomes like okay and expected. We rarely see anything about girls under 18 self-pleasuring. And I think then what happens is that if we do, we feel alone, we feel weird, we feel perverted, or we think that's wrong, and then we're looking for a partner to do with us. So I think conversations need to happen. And if you're comfortable, I do know moms who basically 9th, 10th grade, when their daughters start having and start talking more, they say, here, these are some options. So you can perhaps have a crush on somebody, go on some dates, but don't feel like you have to get your sexy pleasure from somebody else. Right. And you can own it and you can enjoy it and appreciate it.
I also think that could be going forward, maybe more meta. That's a very interesting way to teach sex ed.
I know.
Might
help our pregnancy
rates.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes,
anyway.
Because you don't make as many mistakes and you know more. And frankly, then if you also, I would have clients that would bring their children to come talk to me, and with their parents, or just I'd given my phone number out with the parents' permission to kids and said, if you have questions, you just call me. Because better that you ask me than the stupid kid sitting next to you and who doesn't know, but is going to give you an answer pretending like they know. And here's the thing, my kid, oh my God, I thought my son he was a smart kid. And at age 10 or so, I tried to talk to him about sex and he's like, I know what sex is, Mom. It's like, okay. I said, well, what is it? And he told me it's when two people get naked and kiss for 24 hours. It was all I could do not to burst out laughing, right? This is my really super smart kid. This is the geek of his class. And I was just like, oh, I said, is that what your friends think? And he said, well, some of them don't think it takes 24 hours. And I was like, oh my God. So all I did was I said, hey, well, that's not really what it is. But if you want to keep thinking that, that's okay. If you want to know what it is, you just ask me and I'll be happy to tell you. He's like, okay, well, tell me. And then I did. But really, that's if I just assume, let him just blow off. I don't want to talk about it. I know what it is. Look how wrong I would have been. So,
very true.
Yeah.
Okay, well, on that note, vibrators are for mostly everyone.
Yes, there's something for everyone to enjoy.
Yes.
Yep. So get out there, go explore, go buy some new toys, have some fun with you or your significant other, or just by yourself, or the new person you're going to be banging. Thanks for listening to us, guys. Make sure you get in touch with us. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, Come With Us Podcast. On Twitter, it's at Come With Us Pod. If you questions, comments, concerns, sex toy review, sex toy help, email us, comewithusconfessions@gmail.com, comewithusconfessions@gmail.com. And again, make sure you go rate us 5 stars and leave a review, especially on Apple Podcasts, and keep
tell 2
spreading
friends.
the love and spread the cum.
Tell 2 friends. This is the podcast we all need when we want the bare naked truth about love, sex, and relationships. Thanks so much, y'all. I'm Beth Darling, your sexy genius, here with Aaron and Tina, and we are just so thrilled to come with you.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Come With Us podcast. Be sure to follow us on social media at Come With Us Podcast and send in your questions, comments, and confessions to comewithusconfessions@gmail.com. Until next time, keep it fun, flirty, and naughty.